The industry is screaming at you to climb the property ladder. Irrespective of where you buy a condo, upgrade to a townhouse, then to a semi-detached, then to a detached, and that would be your forever home, and you will be in a debt cycle forever. And therefore, the property ladder is complete bullshit. Now, I'm sure some of you must have seen a recent video. I linked that in the description where it calls out the property ladder and how bullshit it is. I agree to everything, but I do also realize that for first-time home buyers, I'm sure a lot of you are in that road right now, in that race right now. How do we buy a home? How do we qualify for a home? It's so expensive, but there has to be a path given to everyone. Everyone deserves to be a homeowner and move into their forever home. But the trade-off should not be a lifetime of debt. There is a smarter way, and we'll talk about that in today's video. So let's get started. Now, before I start this video, a quick disclaimer. For anyone who does not believe in home buying, please quit this video because you'll just be infuriated by this video. Oh, this is a mortgage agent selling, snake salesman, whatever, right? So whatever comes to your head. With all due respect, this video is not for you. So you should just quit the video. You want to put the comment, so be it. You want to dislike the video, that's fine. This is a video for anyone who is emotional like me, who wants to make their purchase, but you have to be led with numbers, and you should not hurry just because someone is saying that, oh, you need to climb the property ladder. I'm talking to someone who wants to buy a home, make memories in that home with their family, and retire mortgage and rent free. If you're not that, quit this video right now because this video is not for you. Now, we will be talking about three things in this video. The first one is how to buy your first home. What are the numbers around that? How long should you stay in that first home before you buy your forever home? There are no steps that you need to, like I bought my townhouse. I did buy a condo, but that was, initial thing. It was always an investment for me. But I bought my townhouse and then I bought my forever home, and I'll just make it mortgage free. So you don't have to get into that cycle of buying one home and then another home, and for 30 years you're buying a forever home, and then at 50 you still have a 25-year mortgage on the loan, and you're working till 75 because you have to pay a mortgage. That's a stupid way of buying your home. You just need two moves. That's it. Let's go to my Excel and I'll explain you one by one. So it's a very long Excel. I'll just explain you there are sections to this. So I'll explain the first section. Let's say you're buying your first home. Let's say it's a $750,000 normal condo townhouse or a townhouse, not condo. I would not recommend in this market at least to buy a condo, because you might be able to buy a townhouse even if it's a little bit further away. Guelph, Cambridge, they are really nice locations depending on your work. If you have to go to work every single day, that's not a suggestion that I'll make, but that's a one-on-one conversation. Obviously depends on your situation. But let's say you buy a $750,000 starter home, not a condo again, in a good location, a townhouse, and you save 10%, $75,000. You have to pay mortgage insurance because you're doing a 20%, less than 20% down. Let's say your outstanding loan is $695,000. That's the loan that you take from the bank, 4% interest rate, 30-year term. You can just put these numbers here. The mortgage payment comes to about $3,300. Let's assume property taxes are $4,000, and the net income requirement is $10,445. This is not the gross income. This is not multiplied by 12, $120,000 of gross income. This is closer to, I would say, $150,000, $160,000, $170,000 of gross income, and that translates into $10,445. This is basically rule of 35, that your home-related expenses, these expenses on a monthly basis, property taxes divided by 12, so that will be your monthly property tax. These expenses should be less than 35% of your net income, so that you're also able to invest into your TFSAs and RRSPs. You also make a prepayment every single year of your mortgage amount. So one additional payment every single year, so that you are paying off your mortgage and therefore paying less interest. And let's say the home value appreciates by 3%. So that's what you bought. This is your first home. This is not your forever home. Now, some people are fortunate that they are able to buy their forever home. Do it only if you can afford it. Don't just do it because you can fudge your documents. Just don't get into that mess of mortgage fraud, which is pretty common in some areas. But let's say these are your numbers, and I've taken appreciation. I'll talk about lower, higher, not negative. Hopefully there's no negative appreciation. And I don't think there can be negative appreciation purely because there are not enough homes being built. 58% less homes being built this year than last year. And last year we did not, like we were half of what we should have built. Immigration is still at its full steam. In the last, this year alone, there have been 700,000 people again invited to Canada. So, nothing has changed. Liberals are still in power and there's still a supply shortage. Yes, there's a shortage of jobs right now and therefore people are not in the market buying. Therefore, you see the market going down. But long term, when the job market improves, the economy improves, we are not in recession, the job market will just explode because we just don't have enough homes. Plus, we are not even building enough, homes that we want to buy. We are building too many condos. All this is facts, right? The only reason why the market is going down right now is because there are not enough jobs and people are just not in the market to buy because they are fearing that they'll lose their job. Makes sense. Let's talk about the home upgrade. So let's assume that right now, the home that you really wanted to buy that you could not afford, your forever home, is actually worth $1 million. I'm just, taking numbers. But for 7 years, you keep living in your first home that, started at $750,000. Let's assume an appreciation of 3%. By the way, in Canada, the appreciation, even with the slump this year and the last year, we still have a 5% appreciation year on year. I've taken 3%. It does not matter, by the way, and we'll talk about that as well. Unless it's negative, appreciation, it does not matter. But let's assume that you keep this home for 7 years before you think of upgrading to this home that was $1 million when you bought your first home. Now, in 7 years, what would happen is that the price of the home that you're buying, which is your upgraded home, has appreciated to 1.229 because there's a 3% appreciation. It's now worth 1.2. So obviously, it's further away. However, the sale price of your first home has also improved because that has also appreciated in value. That's why I always say that when you are a second home buyer, you should not bother about whether you're buying at the peak or the low because you're selling at a high and buying at a high, you're selling at a low, you're buying at a low. And if you have a good team around you, you might be able to sell for a few $1,000s higher and buy for a few $1,000s lower, which a lot of people are doing right now. So sale price for the first home, let's say, is $922,000. That's what you sell it for. Outstanding balance is $571,000. And remember, we were doing a prepayment and there is an entire calculation here. $750,000 home at a 3% appreciation will be worth $772, $795, $819, 4 years, 5 years. So, I've just done this math. It's a simple 3%. You can just check here. It's a normal calculation, right? We are doing additional payment per year as well. So every year we are making a $3,300 payment that goes towards the principal and our outstanding balance keeps on reducing and we pay less and less interest as we do that. Now, if you're not doing any prepayments, just to give you a perspective, if you're not doing any of these prepayments, you would have paid $18,000 of more interest because if you do not do any prepayments, you're still left with $628,000 of balance. That basically means that you're paying more interest. That's the reason why I say that you should always make, when you buy a home, each one of my clients, they are advised to make one additional payment and it's not difficult to make that. There's an RRSP contribution that you're making every single year. You can always just, instead of buying fancy stuff with that, just put it back into your mortgage. But at least one additional payment is something that everyone can do. Otherwise, you should not be buying a home. I'll be very honest with that. Sale prices, okay, so outstanding balance is $571,000. Obviously, you have a cost of sales. You have to pay the lawyer, you have to pay the buying agent, you have to pay the seller agent. This is not this is not a video where I bash, these guys are making a lot of money. But 5% is the cost of sale, $46,000, which is 922 multiplied by 5%. And overall net proceeds will be about $305,000. Of these $305,000, the mortgage pay down plus our prepayments were $124,000. Our growth, because of the 3% appreciation, is about $180,000, and we did pay interest of $154,000. If you look at this, most of the growth is actually, taken away with the interest, but you are still positive at 3%. Even if you had 2% here, only then you will be negative. So if the property value, goes up by only 2%, which has never happened except for the last 2 years, but we are talking about 7 years of compounding. If you look at 7 years before or any 7-year window, you would see that, it's not happened. Now, this could be very different if you look at 2022 to 2029, but maybe, it'll be still higher, right? Who knows? knows, right? 2022 was the peak of the market. But right now, let's take 3%, which is very nominal across the world. That's a very nominal number. And you would have almost $305,000. Now, what I recommend my clients when they're upgrading is when you're purchasing this forever home, which is now worth 1.229, which was worth 1 million, like 7 years ago, you should put everything towards the down payment. All your equity should go towards your down payment. It's a 25% down payment, so be it. Because you're already 7 years into home ownership, you have to make sure that you retire before 65 and you are mortgage free before that. You need to put every single thing. Let's say this home appreciated by 5%, and you have now 31%. Obviously, all the numbers will be higher. You will sell for higher, you'll buy for higher, but now you're making a 31% down payment, so be it. Do not keep money for fancy stuff when you are upgrading your home. Just put everything towards your upgrade because it is your forever home. Closing costs are $27,000. Total funds needed are $332, and you are having a shortfall of $27,000. This is essentially your closing cost. I would recommend that you put that closing cost from your pocket. You can also use that closing cost from the proceeds of the sale, but your loan would be about $924,000. Let's assume the same interest rate. Your mortgage payment will be $4,415. Make sure that you are making, again with the rule of 35, you are still making $13,925, which is not bad. It's a 30% jump in 7 years. It's not a lot. It's just above inflation, maybe 4-5% increase in income, and you are able to then comfortably move into your forever home. But now the problem is that you are probably in your late 30s, early 40s, and you only have mid 20, 22, 23, 25 years before you retire. This is the exact plan that you should make before even you buy your first home. You can just download this calculator from the description. You can also book a call with our team and they'll do the numbers for you, but you can do that yourself by downloading this calculator as well. However, all I'm saying is that you do not have to buy 4 homes before you buy your forever home. You can just make 2 moves at the right time, and whenever you're ready. When I say at the right time, whenever you're ready, and you will be able to make this move. Now, some of you would say that, oh, what if the market does not appreciate by 3%? It actually, appreciates by 2%. And even if that happens, what you buy, like your forever home, will also cost less, and what you sell will also be, selling for less, and you'll still be able to do 22% down payment. You'll still have the same shortfall. This number only, does not work in your favor if the appreciation is 1% or lower, where you'll have to have more shortfall than you'll have to put money from your pocket to, bridge the 20% down payment. But as long as the market improves by 1%, over 1%, every single year for the next 7 years, which is a very high possibility the way Liberal government is going with their house building. And they have been very clear, the housing minister has been very clear that they don't even want the houses to go down in value, because a lot of retirees are relying on that as a retirement fund. A topic for another video I've made in several videos, but 3% is a very nominal number. All this to say that you do not have to buy multiple homes before you move into a forever home. All you need is 2 moves, 2 good moves, where you can actually save on a lot of fees in between of buying and selling homes and moving to a forever home, and you do not get into an unlimited debt cycle. So to summarize, you buy your first home with a rule of 35. Make sure you're doing that and not with what the bank says that you can afford. No two situations, no two people are similar. Make 1 additional mortgage payment per year. That's something that should be made mandatory, in my view. Like, if you have a home, you should make 1 mortgage payment every single year additional. You live in that home for 7 to 10 years, not before that. Okay, let's go back to that sheet where if I say that, you're doing this in 4 years. If you do this in 4 years, and if you want to do a 20% down payment, you'll have to put more money because you don't have enough equity. All you could take out was $173,000. You needed $225,000 of down payment plus closing costs. So you'll have to put $78,000 from your pocket. So in 4 years, if you want to, move into this $1 million home, you'll not be able to. 3 years, you'll not be able to. You'll have to put even more money. So, 5 years, maybe you'll be very close, but still not there, right? 6 years. So, if you use this calculator, obviously, if you want to buy a $950,000 home, you can do it sooner. If you want to move away to London and buy a $750,000 home, you can do sooner. So you can change this, maths to the way you want to. However, I think 6 to 7 years is something that I feel comfortable for everyone who is buying a home right now, at least my clients who are buying a home right now. Plus, what's what's the hurry? Like most people, in fact, my parents lived in one house for the longest time, 25, 30 years. My grandfather lived in that house, and we still have that house, and that's, that was bought like 45 years ago. That's normal. What we do in Canada is not normal. So you live in this house for 7 to 10 years at least, and then you upgrade with the equity into your forever home and use the entire equity that you have, 30%, 40%, 50% down payment, like whatever it takes. Reduce your mortgage on the forever home as much as possible, and always remember the rule of 35. Your mortgage payment plus property taxes plus utilities, if you can, or condo fee should be less than 35% of your net income household. Build an aggressive plan to pay off your forever home quickly. I hope this video was useful. That's all I have for today. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय.